Hello there, Drew Hanish of Whiskey Lore. It's time for another whiskey tasting, black tie affair, which means we're going for some smoke. And we're going for some smoke today because Ardbeg's Wee Beastie, a 5-year whiskey that is now part of their regular line of whiskeys, is a monster of a dram, as it says below here. So I'm gonna jump in, do a tasting of this. What is a Wee Beastie? Well, it's a very Scottish sounding thing, isn't it? Wee meaning small, beastie meaning some power, something coming after you. So is this whiskey going to come after us? That is the big question here. Now this is 47.4% alcohol by volume, so slightly elevated from the old standards of Scotch. It is, again, young. It is aged in ex-bourbon and Oloroso sherry casks. Now, Oloroso sherry casks, I'm not sure 100% why they would use these casks on a whiskey like this that is trying to give us as much peat as humanly possible in terms of, from the new make, as fresh a peat as possible. But it's an interesting choice. It actually adds a little bit of color to it, and maybe that was part of the idea, is to add some color to what would be a very pale whiskey at 5 years, because if you've seen Ardbeg 10 in a glass, that's pretty pale in and of itself. So maybe that was the idea behind it. I'll see if I can taste any Oloroso sherry in here. Usually you're going to get your dark fruits out of that. Single malt from Islay, and I applaud Ardbeg for doing this because the longer a peated whiskey sits in the barrel, the more it loses the heaviness of that smoke. And so this is a great opportunity for us to get in and get a faceful of smoke. And it has the traditional Ardbeg kind of tarry smoke smell to it. What's nice is there is a nice amount of fruit, but it's not Oloroso sherry fruit. It's more of like your pear and apple. So a little lighter and almost like we would consider a Highland kind of a smell. There's a salty character to it, which is really nice. It's definitely a savory whiskey, and like I say, we'll see where this goes. This is not for the faint of heart. If you have not tried a smoky whiskey before, this is probably not where you want to start. This is something for the peat head that's like, yes, give me more smoke. So here we go. Cheers. Nice fruits in there. There's a citrusy note that comes in there, kind of a lemon that rolls in with that pear and apple that continue on the palate. The smoke is definitely there, milky smoke all the way through this dram, and it lingers on the finish, but there's a really nice enhancement. It's a sweet smoke that comes in, but there's also sort of this, I want to say it's like an anchovy salt. There's a salt in there that just reminds me of the coast. And if you've ever had anchovies on a pizza, it's like they kind of supercharge the saltiness in a pizza, and that's kind of what you're getting here, is a supercharging of this whole peat experience with a very coastal kind of an experience. I get nothing out of this that reminds me of Oloroso sherry, nothing. So to me, it's got to be more about adding some color to the whiskey rather than something that's going to impart some flavors into the whiskey, because there's really nothing there. I get, your lemon comes in, your pear comes in, your apple comes in, that smoke comes in, but there's really no fig, raisin, that kind of a sensation coming through on this. It's a very tarry, but also vegetal smoke. It's a fun word to say. So, does it show its age? A little. There's a little tannin bitterness to it. It doesn't linger for a long time. The finish is actually kind of nice. The alcohol, you sort of, when you first drink it, you will pick it up. After you've had a couple sips of it, though, it kind of dissipates and you don't really notice it so much. So, I mean, I think this is a good whiskey. It is not going to blow the world away. You can find this for $45 to $50 a bottle. It's widely available. It's probably going to be very easy for them to produce because they don't have to wait around for 10 years to put it in the bottle. They can wait 5 and get it out a lot faster. But this is definitely for the peat head. This is not for somebody who is just starting out. After you've had a couple of smoky whiskeys and you think, yeah, I kind of like those, I want to see what the more intense version of this would be like, then I would say go for your Wee Beastie. But I've heard some people say, yeah, I saw that Wee Beastie on the shelf and it was pretty inexpensive, so I bought a bottle and whoa! Whoa, Nelly, as Keith Jackson used to say. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got some value out of this, please like. And if you want to see more of these videos, then subscribe. Let everybody else know this is a channel worth following. And until next time, cheers and Slainte. A little cocoa coming in on that too. Nice. That pear coming back in with the smoke. It's good whiskey. Good whiskey.